Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is February the 4th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. So far, it's been a Sunday fun day of sorts. Nothing bad, just a little bit of grocery shopping that went well. Let's see here. Food corner last night though, pretty normal, nothing wild. I had some popcorn chicken. I made it spicy, and then I had some fries and a few onion rings, and a couple pieces of toast. So yeah, worked out. Pretty functional meal. Let's see here. Also, this is a bit of a snack section. I had a Butterfinger for breakfast, I guess you could say, because I'm just a big kid at the end of the day, living in Candyland. I don't know. I just hadn't had a Butterfinger in a long time, and I feel like the last time I had them, I felt like they had changed them. They were hitting different. Overall, it was a Butterfinger though this time. It didn't rock my world. That used to be one of my favorite candies though. Now I feel like on the peanut butter end, I like paydays more than I like Butterfingers. But you guys didn't come here for candy. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and do my startup, and then we'll get into some news. Ooh, yeah. All right. Our first story comes from NPR. Nambian President Hage Geingob dies in a hospital where he was receiving treatment. Nambian President Hage Geingob died Sunday while receiving medical treatment, his office announced. In a post on social media platform X, the Nambian presidency said Gengob's medical team at Lady Pohamba Hospital did its best to help him, but Gengob died with his wife, Monica Gengos, and children by his side. Gengob was undergoing treatment for cancer. The 82-year-old had a colonoscopy and I cannot pronounce gastroscopy. Man, I should not be a doctor. On January 8th, followed by a biopsy, his office said last month. Let's see. Angolo Umumba, Nambia's acting president, called for calm, saying in the same post that the cabinet will convene with immediate effect in order to make the necessary state arrangements in this regard. Geingob, who was president of Southern African nation since 2015, was set to finish his second and final term in office this year. In 2014, he said he survived prostate cancer. Nambia is set to hold or choose a new leader in November. So obviously, it's very unfortunate. But yeah, making it to 82, it's a pretty good run, I feel. So that's good. Man, and you know what? Cancer has been one of those things that's like been like the back of my brain kind of thing. I feel like every year I think about it a little bit more. I was like driving, listening to BBC, and they were saying like by 2015, the amount of people who are going to have cancer is like going to be in like the billions. And I was like, well, that's depressing. Jesus Christ. But, all you can really do is, get good checkups and things of that nature, if and where you can. I know I'm really just trying to talk to myself. I told myself at 30 I was like going to do my physical and do all that kind of stuff. And then I just keep making excuses because I'm 33 and I haven't been to the doctor. So yeah, I should take my own advice and do that, and you should too. Okay. Anyway, on that note, let's do another update from Al Jazeera. Pakistan's Imran Khan wife now gets 7 years jail for marriage law violation. Now, I know I've been kind of piling it on with Imran Khan news this week, but I mean, it's just been flowing. They have really got the shovel. They're trying to bury this man. And his wife, geez, Pete. A court in Pakistan has now jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his wife Bushara Bibi for 7 years, ruling their 2018 marriage violated the Islamic law. The civil court set up inside the Andanala jail in Rawalpindi city, where Khan is imprisoned, delivered the sentence on Saturday in the presence of the couple. It also slapped a fine of 1,000,000 rupees, or $3,560 on them. Now, this was something that was it was a case that was filed last year by Bibi's former husband, Kuwar Manika, who alleged that his divorced wife did not observe the necessary 3-month break required under Islamic law before remarrying Khan. Manika claims he divorced his wife in November of 2017. Khan announced his third marriage with Bibi on February of 2018, months before he became the prime minister. So yeah, I mean, at this point, I really feel like this is kind of overkill. I mean, you could just say, well, this is just a matter of justice served, but it does feel like they are really just trying to go out of their way to make sure that it's like, hey, not only do you know this man is going to be in jail for a very, very long time, but that, he's like a bad man. He's done bad things, he broke Islamic, relation law, things of that nature. So yeah, I mean, I've said this before, I'll say it again. It's not like I'm a person who's sitting here rooting for Khan, just looking at, from what I've seen. But that being said, it does feel like the Pakistan court is just going above and beyond to, like, punish this man and his family for doing what he did. So I don't know. It goes through the whole history here if you want to read it. We've talked about it, I feel like, pretty extensively at this point on this podcast, so I don't want to dwell. And yeah, let's go on, move on to the next beat. From the Associated Press, federal judge dismisses Disney's free speech lawsuit against DeSantis. So, DeSantis might have lost, his primary run for president, but that's okay. He's back, king of the castle, and it looks like he's getting his dubs now against Disney. So that's interesting. Let's go ahead and talk about it. A federal judge on Wednesday dismissed Disney's free speech lawsuit against Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, dealing a setback to the company's hopes of regaining control of the district that governs Walt Disney World after it was taken over by the governor's appointees. U.S. District Judge Alan Windsor in Tallahassee said his decision that Disney lacks standing in its First Amendment lawsuit against the Republican governor and the Secretary of Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. The judge also said Disney's claim against DeSantis appointees to Disney World governing district lacked merit. Disney said it plans to appeal the federal judge's decision. A separate lawsuit over who controls the district is still pending in a state court in Orlando. So it's definitely not the last that we're going to hear about this. They do go through the whole history in this article, kind of to catch you up. Once again, this is something we've talked about before. It goes through the judge's thinking on this, and in some ways I kind of disagree. In some ways I at least get where he's coming from. This is a Trump-appointed judge, so you can kind of definitely see where he's leaning, and also in Florida, very conservative. But yeah, so it's not really surprising that this verdict comes about. I can say that in some ways, me personally, yes, I'm rooting for Disney here, but in this sense, it's for them to have this weird district control over the land in which Disney World resides, and essentially that was taken from them and given to Governor DeSantis appointed people. And in some ways it's weird that Disney had that kind of power, had that kind of autonomy. For them, though, they're saying, hey, at the end of the day, this was a win-win for Florida because we were paying for everything. Everything that happened on these grounds, the road work, any kind of repairs, any kind of structural infrastructure shit, we were handling that. Now it's going to go to you guys, and you have to handle all that. Plus the taxes. It's just weird, right? You should just give this weird autonomy back to us. And they're like, no, because you tried to beef with us. And essentially the judge is like, no, it's not about that. Like, it wasn't over any kind of free speech or anything like that. You guys weren't even mentioned when this whole restructuring happened, like by name. But I'm like, this is only affecting them. It was solely for them. So I feel like that's kind of weird for the judge to have that line. But I mean, I don't know, whatever. I'm not a lawyer. So that's more or less as much as I wanted to talk about that. I'm sure we'll be covering them more in the year. But yeah, let's go ahead and take our break, and then we'll cover some good news, some interesting news. In the hip hop world, man, the older I get, the older I feel. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, I also got to add, weather's not so bad. At least not right now. I mean, it's in the 40s, but, you know, it's sunny. Sky's out, nice and blue. Gotta appreciate that. Oh, excuse me. From the Business Insider, Megan Thee Stallion and Warner Music Group signed innovative new agreement that enables her to stay independent while working with the company's resources. Megan Thee Stallion and Warner Music Group, or WMG, signed a new agreement on Friday, Business Insider has learned. The agreement will enable the Houston native to maintain her independence as a musician while having access to the music company's robust global services, ranging from radio promotion to marketing worldwide, according to the artist representative. Let's see here. The deal follows an October 2023 settlement between Megan and her former label, 1501 Certified Entertainment. The settlement ended a years-long legal battle over what she called an unconscionable contract with the label, which she alleged prevented her from releasing new music and withheld royalties. Which I feel like is something that is very common in the music world, where, you know, you're on the come up, you're, you know, a rising artist or group, and, you know, you have this fame, you have this attention right now, you're on the come up, you want to make money, like you want to like make this shit happen, and you sign with like the first label that can really come along and offer that to you. And it seems like a good amount of money in the beginning. Like, you get this upfront check, or you see it and it's like, cool, this is great. But like, you often don't have any kind of legal representation or anyone to kind of look over a contract and say, is this good for me? Is this going to work for us? Whatever. And you sign on the dotted line, and, you know, now you're getting more press, you're getting more attention, and this is great. But then very quickly, very soon, you see the limitations of this literal contract, this binding piece of paper now, and it's like, oh shit, I'm now famous and I'm making quote unquote money, but it's not all going to me. It's going everywhere else but to me. And like, literally the music I'm making isn't even owned by me in some situations. And this is a bit of an aside, but like, I've noticed now, since I watch a lot of streams, and people will use a lot, like as much copyright free music as you can. And like, it's so upsetting and weird to see music that is very new, like within 5 to 10 years, it's now being able to be covered and regurgitated up. And like, there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously, if you're a newer person and you're just doing a cover for some music and you're getting your check, awesome. But like, it sucks to like see this music, like, and you know that the main original artist or group isn't making that cut. They're not seeing that money anymore. A label is, you know what I mean? Because now they're just shuffling around this music, and they can just make a little money and then like say, hey, yeah, you can just do this music and it's copyright free or whatever, and go off, do this, do that. But bringing you back to Megan, it's cool that an artist of this caliber that we've seen and we love, and it's awesome to see them thrive, is now in a situation where they really are independent. And not just independent, they're independent and able to work with a massive label in a way that works for them. Now, in my thoughts, I'm curious to see, like, and this is just me being dumb and not knowing, like, what like Warner Music Group gets out of this, because I'm sure they're getting some kind of cut and some kind of incentive. I'm imagining because they're working with this artist and there's some kind of trickle down here because they're handling all their stuff, they're getting something, but it doesn't seem like they're getting any kind of royalties. I'm imagining, Megan has her kind of masters on her new album, things like that. Which I'll go ahead and read here. Following the statement, Megan released 2 independent singles, Cobra and Hiss, the latter of which stands at #1 on Apple Music's global chart, Spotify's US chart, and YouTube's trending music chart. That's like a fucking, like, that's like the holy trinity right now. Like, that's what you want to be hitting. So yeah, I mean, it's good for her. That's awesome. It's good that she's like getting to just reap all the benefits of her success. We'd love to see it. Kudos to her. And it's cool to see a label moving in this kind of way. Like growing up, I just would remember hearing stories like about how NWA got fucked over, and like Ice Cube was the only one who was like, look, I looked at this shit, I took this shit outside of us and like looked at our contract, we're getting fucked over, bro. Don't sign this shit. We shouldn't go for this shit. And like that was a whole fucking thing. And like there's just so many instances of so many artists that like had to work double time because they had to get out of their first wave of contracts, or like obviously Megan's no different, but it's good that now labels are wising up and saying, hey, maybe we don't milk the artist like bone dry. Maybe we give them a bit, especially if they're of this caliber, like Megan Thee Stallion. So yeah, I just wanted to end on a good note, and I'm sure maybe people clicking on this are thinking, "Oh, what are you going to talk about the beef, with Nicki?" No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that here. Let's just talk about the dubs. Let's just keep it on this shit, and maybe I'll talk about that in another episode, maybe some bonus content. I'm not sure yet. Maybe I won't talk about it at all. That's drama. Anyway, that's it. That's really all I have for today. Hopefully you've enjoyed the episode. Hopefully you've enjoyed your week. Hopefully you're gonna have a good day today. If it's not your Sunday fun day right now when you're listening to this, hopefully you're still feeling that energy, that vibe. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.